Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Health First. Today, I'm happy to welcome back Dr. Jones, who is an ear, nose, and throat specialist and head and neck surgeon at Park Avenue ENT. Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you? Thanks for having me.
I'm great. Thank you for joining me for another video. Today, I will be posing questions that I received from my peers about the COVID-19 vaccine to get more information about it. So let's get started.
Great.
The first question is, what percentage of teens ages 12 to 18 are vaccinated in the US?
That's a really good question. I don't have the exact number, but I think, it depends state by state. Here where we are in New York State, there's a much higher percentage of kids who are vaccinated. In places like the South, where only 37% of adults are vaccinated in Mississippi, it's much lower. So it's a much more regional number. And the other thing is, right now, and this will probably continue, is teens need permission from their parents to get vaccinated. So that's, even though you may not want to get vaccinated, sometimes your parents are hesitant. So that number will vary.
Yeah. The next question is, what are common side effects of the COVID vaccine, and are they different from other vaccines?
Absolutely. Because the COVID-19 is a little bit more virulent virus, the boosters and the initial vaccines need to be a little bit stronger. So the side effects are a little bit more significant than that you might see with some of the other vaccines that you're getting as a teen, but they're very similar. The most common side effect is pain at the site of the injection. So, having some arm pain, and that usually goes away pretty quickly. And I usually recommend that teens and adults use Arnica, Arnica, Arnica cream, which you can get at any health food store. And that's really helpful in helping with the pain at the site. The other common side effects are the type of side effects that you might get if you had the flu. And that would be headache, sort of muscle pains, and low-grade fever. Most side effects occur about 6 to 12 hours after the vaccine, and usually only last for the maximum of 24 to 48 hours. And for most teens, it's pretty mild.
Yeah, most of my peers who have gotten vaccinated also said that they had those side effects and nothing else. So
yeah, it's pretty mild.
And the next question is it recommended to get the vaccine even after being sick with COVID?
Absolutely. And that's such a great question, because when most people got COVID probably like 6 months to a year ago when it was out there. Some people have gotten it more recently. The problem is that we aren't seeing that immunity to one strain of COVID covers the other strains of COVID. So as you know, the most prominent strain of COVID was the one that came out of Wuhan, China, and that was initially from March until probably February, March of this year. So a good full year of the Wuhan virus. And then because the virus entered India, where there was a lot of people who were unvaccinated, the virus had a chance to mutate. I mean, it took on another form that made it a little bit more virulent, meaning more contagious. And it was able to sort of outsmart the antibodies from the first Wuhan virus. So yeah, the great thing about the vaccines is they have a much broader range of covering all the different strains of COVID-19. So there's a much better chance that you're going to get immunity from the Delta strain, which is the one that is 99% throughout the United States now, than if you had gotten sick from the initial strain. So yes, get it.
And how effective is the vaccine against the Delta variant?
Yeah, it's really pretty effective. So the Pfizer and the Moderna vaccines are running about 84% effective, and that's 84% effective against severe disease, like that's getting hospitalized. But they're really even effective against protecting you from even mild disease. And the thing that we're mostly concerned about is that people get severe disease. You can get a mild case of the flu, and I'm sure people have gotten flu vaccines, and even though they get the flu vaccine, they get the flu, but it's much less. And you may be sick for a day or two, and you can usually sort of power through it or take a day off of school. But it's the vaccines are going to prevent you from getting severe disease. So that's the most important. And they're very effective at that.
Yeah, definitely. So do you think the vaccine will work against all future variants?
I think it will. I think the thing that we're seeing as we go along is that the vaccines are very, very effective at preventing severe disease. And again, that's what we want to prevent. We want to prevent people from ending up in the hospital. Is like the flu vaccine every year, the flu tends to morph a little bit. And then will there be a chance that you get mild disease? Yes. But that, we can all deal with, especially, young people have great immune system, and many of them, have no underlying medical problems. So that won't be a problem. Now, will we be seeing boosters for everybody in the future? I think we will. I think it's going to be like the flu, where every single year there'll be a little bit of change in the booster that's out there. And just like you get your flu shot, you'll get your COVID-19 shot. And it's interesting because Moderna, one of the companies that is, the big producers of vaccines, is coming out. It's looking like probably later this year with a flu and a COVID-19 vaccine together, which will be great.
Yeah, that's very interesting. And one of the most common questions that I've got is, does the vaccine affect fertility in girls and women?
No, absolutely not. All of our studies have shown that there's no effect on fertility with the COVID-19 vaccines. But what we have seen is that COVID-19 itself can affect fertility, and especially in young men. And what we found is that COVID-19, especially if you were to get severe COVID-19, it can really affect sperm mobility and sperm viability. So yeah, if you're thinking of, having children in the future, getting the COVID vaccine is a great way to protect yourself.
Yeah, and we already kind of touched on this question, but lately people with vaccines have been getting sick with COVID, which discourages some from actually getting the vaccine. So does the way vaccinated people suffer from COVID differ greatly from unvaccinated people?
Absolutely. And that's, again, such a great question, because there's a lot of stuff in the media out there, about all these breakthroughs from the Delta variant. But when we look at it, 99% of the people who are dying from COVID now and 97% of the people who are hospitalized are all unvaccinated. So that's a really great statistic to say, okay, well, the vast majority of people who are getting really sick from COVID are the people who are unvaccinated. People who are having breakthrough infections are getting stuff like the flu. And I think we can all power through that. What we want to prevent is being that person who ends up in the hospital.
Yeah, definitely. And the final question that I have is that if a teen boy was recently sick with COVID, is it safe for him to get the vaccine soon after, considering that there have been reported cardiac side effects in boys?
Yeah, it's absolutely safe, but you should wait probably about a month to 6 weeks. Most physicians are recommending after your initial diagnosis of COVID to get the vaccine. And then your body has had a chance to settle down, because with most teens, you have really great immune systems. So you're going to get COVID-19, your body's going to fight it off, but then your body's sort of ramped up. And you want to let it settle down before you sort of stimulate it again with the COVID-19 vaccine. So 4 to 6 weeks after the initial diagnosis is best.
Yeah, and those are all the questions. So thank you so much for all the information and thank you for your time.
Great. That was really fun. Thanks again for inviting me.
Of course. Thank you.